Stop me if you've heard this before. The Cowboys got beat handily by San Francisco, and Dak had several interceptions. Brock Purdy alone rushed for more yards than the Dallas Cowboys. They are a poorly constructed football operation. Their defense, only the Carolina Panthers have a worse defense in the NFL. Hey, but Dak got the bag again. Good luck with that. I think the Dallas Cowboys immediately have to consider being sellers at the deadline. Their schedule gets even harder. It's time for a rebuild. They do nothing well. A rebuild starting with a kicker. I like him. He didn't even show up. He had jury duty. He's still good. Like the kicker. But this is a really bad football team. And the next 4 games are against the Falcons and the Eagles and the Texans and the Commanders. And all of those teams won yesterday. And all those teams now are playing really good football. So you think, we got the Niners out of the way. No, I'd argue right now the Commanders are playing better than the Niners. The Eagles yesterday were fantastic. I mean, the Texans, say what you want about the Texans, but when they're healthy, they're really good. And Atlanta, they're going to win their division. I mean, here's what makes it worse. Dallas now 3-4. San Francisco was down like 4 or 5 high-end starters. They were on their 3rd running back. They're on their 3rd kicker. And then Deebo Samuel gets hurt during the game. Brock Purdy didn't play well, and they still rushed for 223 yards. They still did it. I mean, they're down multiple players. Christian McCaffrey's coming back soon. Juwan Jennings coming back soon. They're getting guys back. So off a bye, Dallas showed a little bit of life in the first half. But then it went to the second half, and the Cowboys' first 3 second-half drives. Listen to this. Pick, 3 and out, 3 and out. And the Niners, with the better coach, making adjustments, their first 3 possessions in the second half, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. They outgained the Cowboys just in the 3rd quarter, almost 10-1. So, and this is off a bye. This is when you're rested. Yeah, Micah Parsons wasn't there. I mean, Christian McCaffrey wasn't there for the other guys. So, you know, the old saying, if you fool me once, shame on you. If you fool me twice, shame on me. If you fool all of us for like 29 years, what does that translate to? The Mike McCarthy Cowboys look now like the Jason Garrett Cowboys. That looked like the Wade Phillips Cowboys. That looked like the Chan Gailey Cowboys. I mean, outside of Boeing, has any major brand fallen harder and faster in the last 12 months than the Dallas Cowboys? I just don't get it. The schedule's getting tougher. Dak against the better teams can't play. I think you have to sell it. I think you have to keep the kicker, keep CeeDee Lamb. I guess you keep Dak and just move parts. Trade deadline's coming up. A lot of people would go for Micah Parsons. A lot of people would. DeMarcus Lawrence, one of the corners. Maybe your tight end. I mean, you're a mile away from Detroit. I watched Philadelphia yesterday. That roster is stacked. San Francisco's better than you, and they're not healthy yet. Kansas City's and Buffalo's and Baltimore's and Houston's. And, I mean, the Chargers looked good yesterday. I mean, this roster is not top 10. I'm not sure if it's top 15 in the league. I think you got to sell it. And, I mean, you're stuck with Dak. Dak against the Niners, you get interceptions. That's what you get. And it keeps getting longer the more they play. That's when you know you're in trouble. When a long season, it's happening to the Jets, feels longer after every game is over. I mean, the Niners were off. A tough physical game, an emotional loss to Kansas City. The Cowboys had a bye. So this was a perfect opportunity to finally knock out San Francisco. And that 3rd quarter, it was a coaching mismatch, a run game mismatch, a quarterback mismatch. I think you tear it down and rebuild it. It's painful. Cowboy fans are loyal, but this doesn't work, and this isn't close. And here come the Commanders and the Eagles and the Texans and the Falcons. You could lose all of those games. Okay, so yesterday, I mean, I'm not somebody that, says, this coach needs to be fired or get rid of this staff. I'll make an exception today. Multiple people probably need to lose their job that coached the Chicago Bears. They lost to Washington, and they deserve to lose to Washington. That was not luck with a Hail Mary. Okay, maybe it was luck. But what I saw in the second half may have been the worst coaching I have seen by an NFL team over the course of a half in years. I mean, number one, handing the ball to a backup center. You've got good running backs. You've got good tight ends. You've got good wide receivers. Handing the ball to a backup center. That was your best drive of the day to that point. You'd had one big run, but that was the best drive of the day to that point. And that's your play. Off a bye, that's the play. That's your clever play. That's non-negotiable. You can't do that. You're not Carolina. You've got players. In fact, you've spent money on the offensive side. Multiple tight ends, multiple receivers, a good running back, a capable backup running back, a mobile quarterback. That can't be it off a bye. Secondly, on the Hail Mary, you got one of your defensive players, John with fans, as the ball's in play. He's just John with fans. I mean, there's also the fact that you have a linebacker on that play spying on Jaden Daniels instead of deep, as if Jaden Daniels is going to peel off a 52-yard touchdown run. What are you doing? I mean, this is just coming off a bye, Chicago's first 7 possessions, coming off a bye, 6 punts and a turnover on downs. What is going on? Way to use that extra work to hand the ball off to a backup center and not be prepared on a Hail Mary. I mean, Caleb Williams was bad in the first half, better in the second, but didn't play well. What you saw yesterday is 2 young ascending teams and 2 tremendously good quarterbacks. But tell me you don't feel this way this morning. Jaden Daniels, that's going to work. He's got a support system. Kingsbury, Terry McLaurin, Dan Quinn, new owner. It kind of feels like it's not only going to work, it's working now. Forget the Hail Mary. They outplayed Chicago. Caleb is starting to feel a lot like Andrew Luck, where you're like, you may need to clean house because this kid's going to get hurt. But that is just unforgivable nonsense yesterday. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm not somebody who stands up here and says, fire this, fire that. I usually defend. I mean, I defend a Harbaugh for years at Michigan when you wanted him out, or a Brian Kelly at Notre Dame, or a Lincoln Riley. I tend to be a Sark after a bad loss. I tend to be like, it's hard. That stuff off a bye, here's the other thing. I mean, honestly, here's my question about the staff. He said, we practiced that thing 100 times. On like the 38th time you practiced it, did not somebody on the offensive staff go, hey, can I speak up? He's a backup center. We got really good running backs. Can we just scrap this? Like, it's not going to work. I mean, here's the thing. Let's say it would have worked for a touchdown. You don't get any extra points if you use a backup center than one of your running backs. And by the way, if I was a star running back for the Bears and I worked so hard being a running back, can't you give me the 1-yard touchdown run for the big win? I mean, doubling down on it. The Hail Mary looked disorganized. I could go on and on about their, fade pattern in the end zone, which is like a 3% call. Nothing about Chicago in the second half is endearing. None of it. I mean, move off who you got to move off, but that's a mess. This is becoming Andrew Luck. By the way, you went to college, J-Mac, near D.C. Why don't you just abandon the Jets and go with a winner? That team is so much fun. That was our surprise pick to make the playoffs this year. They're better than we thought they would be. And it's one of those, like, usually with Hail Marys, I feel bad for the losing team. I was overjoyed the Commanders won. They outplayed them, they outcoached them, they outstaffed them, they outthought them, they outprepared them, and their quarterback's banged up. Washington completely deserved to win that game. It's the only Hail Mary I've ever seen and thought, no sympathy for the losing team. Because usually it's so gutting and jarring and awful, and you see the coaching staff melt. It's like, no, you guys should have lost 8 times. Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.